Welcome to the Frog Loves Reddit YouTube channel. Let's get started. Story 1.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit my sister's kids after what she did at my wedding? Hi, so this whole thing has been blowing up in my family and I don't even know where to start. I'm 26 female, married for about 6 months, now to my husband, 28 male. And honestly, I thought everything was fine between me and my older sister, 33 female. Let's call her Lisa. Growing up, Lisa was always the favorite. My mom would bend over backwards to help her with anything, whether it was money, school, or her kids. She has 3, 7 male, 5 female, and 3 male. I'm not saying Lisa's a bad mom or anything, but she leans hard on the family for support. And me? I'm just the free babysitter. Well, when me and my husband were planning our wedding, I made it clear it was our day. I didn't want drama, I didn't want chaos, and I told Lisa nicely that I didn't want her kids at the ceremony. The reception, sure, but the ceremony was going to be small and intimate, just 40 people. She flipped out about it, but finally said, "Fine, whatever, do what you want." Fast forward to the wedding day. I'm standing at the altar, holding my husband's hands, and guess what I hear? A baby scream. I look over, and there's Lisa, trying to shush her 3-year-old who's having a meltdown right there in the middle of my vows. I was furious, but kept my cool in the moment. After the ceremony, I pulled her aside and was like, "Why did you bring them?" I thought we agreed. She just laughed and said, "You didn't mean it. They're family." I told her she disrespected me and my husband, and she needed to leave the reception if she couldn't keep the kids under control. My mom, of course, took her side, saying I was being dramatic and kids will be kids. So I guess I'd already been harboring some resentment, but here's where the real issue starts. A week ago, Lisa texted me saying she needs me to watch her kids for the weekend because her and her husband want a much-needed break. I told her no, I had plans, which I did, but even if I didn't, it's not my responsibility. She called me selfish, saying I owed her because family helps family. I snapped. I told her I'm not her built-in babysitter, and after the wedding stunt, she should be the one apologizing to me. She got all huffy and told the whole family I'm punishing her kids for no reason. Now everyone's blowing up my phone, saying I'm cruel for turning my back on Lisa when she needs help. But I'm standing firm. I'm not a free babysitter, and I'm not going to let her walk all over me anymore. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit and drawing the line?
Time for the comments. One Redditor said, "Well, all the ones who say you are turning your back, why aren't they volunteering to babysit as Lisa needs help? You are not punishing the kids. Their parents should be spending quality time with them. Your sister is not only very entitled, but has always taken you for granted and did not respect your wishes during your wedding. Not the a-hole." Another said, "Let's forget about the wedding disrespect for now. The truth is you have a life that does not revolve around her and her kids. Even if she respected your wishes on your wedding day, you're still not obligated to babysit. Let those taking her side also take her kids. The overall vote is undecided. What do you think?" Story 2.
Would I be the a-hole if I didn't text my friend to get him his stuff? Because I'm upset at him. So a friend and I are supposed to dress up together for an event this weekend. And last week, we were supposed to meet to go shop for some more elements of our costumes. Well, I was waiting for him and he was a bit late, so I texted him a bit annoyed about it, and he responded very aggressively. I asked him, am I not allowed to be frustrated for waiting for 20 minutes? I'll specify that I had been waiting for 20 minutes, but technically he was only late for 10. And he responded, "If you're going to be frustrated, I'll just go home." I felt that was very unfair as he was the one in the wrong for being late, and that it was a reasonable thing for me to complain about. So I told him, mockingly quoting him, "I'm going to be late and I'll make you wait, but you can't complain about it, or I'll go home," and then followed up with telling him to do what he wants, but to put himself into question. He just said okay, and then never texted again. Anyway, he got here right after that message, got off the bus, and immediately crossed the street and took the bus the other way. The thing is, he didn't see me, as I was sitting a bit further back, so he didn't know that I saw him leave, and he never told me that he was actually leaving. So as far as he knows, I may have waited for even longer before leaving, but he didn't care. So it's been a week now, and we haven't texted since then. I decided to let him come apologize, as I don't feel I was in the wrong. But he hasn't bothered. The weird thing though, Is he still sending me videos on IG and TikTok as if nothing happened? I haven't reacted to any of them, even though I usually do, but he keeps sending them. No texting though. Well now, I've started getting our costumes that we previously ordered delivered to my place because we're supposed to get ready together. But since I don't want to text him, I haven't. If he wants to get his costume parts, he can come text me for them. And if he wants to still get ready at my place, he can apologize. But so, would I be the a-hole if I kept going with that? If he doesn't have his items, that's his problem, mine said. Or should I text him to arrange for him to get them? Follow up. Would I be the a-hole if I didn't let him get ready at my place like we had planned? If he doesn't apologize? One more thing to add, I'm not upset at him for being late. 15 minutes is like an okay wait time. I'm upset at how disrespectfully he handled it. It would have been fine if he'd just said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I left a bit late. I'll be here in 5, or something instead of whatever the heck that was. Edit. A lot of people are asking what were the exact texts, so here is our whole conversation. We were supposed to meet at 2. I finished at 1:48. 1:53. Me. Hey, I'm done early FYI. Where about are you? 1:54. Him.
Bus stop 1.
I thought he definitely won't get here in 6 minutes. 1:55. Me. Oh, well, I'll wait for you at my bus stop then. 2:06. Me. Oh my God, there's been 3 buses, and you weren't in any of them. Him.
Well, I was at bus stop 1 when they came by Einstein.
2:07. Me. No, like 1 got here just now. 2:08. Him.
Well, I hadn't gotten to bus stop yet when they came by Sherlock.
Me. Well, I got that, but I was hoping you'd be in it. Him.
Okay, then shut the F up.
2:09. What? Am I not allowed to be frustrated to be waiting for 20 minutes? Oh, and 1 more bus, yay. Him.
Well, if you're frustrated, I'm going home.
2:30. Me. I'm coming late and making you wait. But you can't complain or I'll go home. Do whatever you please, but put yourself into question. Him.
Okay then.
2:14. He got here and left without letting me know anything. I only knew because I saw him from afar. Edit 2. I waited 25 minutes, and he was 15 minutes late.
Time for the comments. One Redditor said, "You're the a-hole. He took the bus and he can't control the bus. I would get it if he was really late, but he wasn't. It was 10 minutes. I wouldn't be happy either if I got a pissed off message while I was on my way on the bus. It was 10 minutes. Another said, "You waited 10 minutes, not 20. You being early does not mean it's his fault. Also, someone taking the bus running late normally means something with the bus happened. What was the first text you sent him? You don't say what the first message was. That's an important detail because depending on that is what changes the response. Like if you sent a "Hey, where are you at?" or "Are you on your way?" or "What's your ETA?" Just checking and making sure you're all right and on your way. Those are all totally reasonable and asking a question. If you texted "Where are you?" "Hurry up. I'm sick of waiting." That's asking in an aggressive way. You said you were annoyed when you texted him first, so I'm gonna say your first text was not polite, and instead you started off rude. Which you're gonna get an annoyed text back. Plus, if your friend was running late and it was a bus issue, chances are they were already frustrated with the situation too. In general, it sounds like you are leaving too many things out because for someone to change their mind and turn around and leave it means that they were already done with the situation / overwhelmed. You did some shitty things. Maybe they did too. But honestly, without knowing what was really said over text, it's not possible to say they should be the one to apologize. So if you want to move forward, take the first step because you have actions to apologize for. Everyone sucks here. The overall vote is you're the a-hole. Story 3.
Am I the a-hole for not washing dishes?
I stayed with a friend for a month. His work schedule was on weekends, starting at 1 a.m. He'd return to his apartment at noon. My work schedule was a 9 to 5 every weekday. Before he'd come home, I'd clean around the apartment at 10 a.m. I'd wash dishes, wipe countertops, and make the beds. I'd also buy most of the groceries and cook most of the time. When I'd do this on the weekdays, he'd be there to help. We'd been playing a video game together all month, and since he'd played a little while, I was asleep. I wanted to catch up. On Sunday, I didn't need to work and slept in until 8:45. I texted him when I woke up. I turned on the game to play by myself for the first time. 15 minutes later, he'd returned early. He heard the game and said he'd play after using the bathroom. He came into the room, grabbed a half-full cup of soda of his, and took it to the kitchen. But he said he was going to sleep instead. No big deal. At about 10 a.m., I ran through my routine, except I didn't make his bed since he was asleep. I realized later that I was getting the silent treatment when I offered him food, and he ignored me. The night before, he'd made dinner. The portions were huge, so there were leftovers on the plates. I'd offered to take them to the kitchen, but he insisted. These plates with leftovers were left out until he came back to the apartment. He resented coming home, exhausted just to wash dishes. He started by apologizing for the silence. I told him it was valid to be annoyed, but he could have just asked me to do it, since I was unaware they were still there. I was used to washing dishes there anyway. He said it reminded him of his dirty old roommates, who would even let their pets poop and pee everywhere. I didn't appreciate being compared to them. He said he wasn't comparing, it was just that it reminded him of it, and that he was triggered by the plates. I said I offered to take the plates, but he was adamant about taking them. Had I taken them, the food would have been stored or thrown away because that's what I do at home. He asked why hadn't I done that. I explained that I hadn't had time to do much since he came home 15 minutes after I'd opened my eyes. He said he was tired of cleaning up after me, which made no sense since the only thing I hadn't done since I'd been there was laundry, because I didn't know where his clothes went or what he wanted washed. I also said I'd had to take his half-full glasses and mugs to the kitchen almost every day. He said it's not the same, and then said that he was getting heated and needed to cool off. I got the silent treatment for the rest of the day until that evening when I booked my flight home. I've been thinking about lots of what-ifs that could have prevented that argument. I felt so blindsided that it got to the point that it did, and I opted not to play the game again for the remainder of the week, despite being asked. But maybe I'm the a-hole who escalated it to begin with.
Time for the comments. One Redditor said, not the a-hole. Why are you making his bed? What the F? Another said, info. Where do you live normally? Did moving in to help him financially hurt you financially? Why do you make his bed? OP responded,
I have my own house. There are reasons why he couldn't stay with me instead. It did put a small dent in my finances for that month, but I'd considered that before helping him. On weekdays, I didn't make his bed since he was there, and I worked. He liked it done a particular way, so I showed him I could do it. And it just became a habit on the weekends after that, since he was grateful. It's part of why his argument about cleaning up after me confused me so much. I enjoy cleaning.
The overall vote is not the a-hole. Story 4.
Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I'm not going to his cousin's wedding? I, 23 female, am currently 20 weeks pregnant and I am due mid-April. My husband, 22 male, and I were invited to his cousin's wedding next June. I told my husband that I don't think it's a good idea if we go to the cousin's wedding since it's across the country, 26-hour car ride or several-hour plane ride plus 2-hour drive to the airport, and the baby will be at most 2 months old. We don't see this side of the family very often because they live so far away, and if it was a few months later I'd say we could go. This is our first child and I think we'd still be adjusting at 2 months. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to go? Edit. I did tell him that as much as I love that specific part of the family, it's not a good idea for me to go, so the baby and I would not be attending. I don't think he's officially decided if he's going yet or not, but he's extremely upset that I've said I'm not going. Edit 2. He will also be in a wedding 2 weeks before his cousin's wedding. He wasn't exactly thrilled that I wouldn't be able to go to that one either, despite it only being an hour from our house. I'm already having my mom come stay with me for that wedding, and I'm not sure if she'll be able to come 2 weeks later. And yes, he knew I was pregnant and when I was due when I was asked to be in the wedding.
Time for the comments. One Redditor said, not the a-hole. There's no way you should get on a plane with a 2-month-old unless it's an extreme emergency. Does your husband understand what having a newborn actually means? The OP responded,
I don't think so.
Another Redditor said, option 1, 26-hour car ride, no. Option 2, 2-hour car ride to airport plus several hours flight, no. Option 3, attending a reception with loud music, and exposure to several people COVID is still a thing. No. Option 4. Staying home with support from your mother. Yes, not the a-hole. The overall vote is not the a-hole. Story 5.
Am I the a-hole for telling my mother-in-law and sister-in-law their obsession with hating my name is weird? My mother-in-law and sister-in-law have this real intense hatred for my name. It's become an obsession to the point they are in groups on different parts of the internet and mock my name, comment on how embarrassing it is to be associated with me, etc. My father-in-law is the reason my husband and I know this. He has grabbed screenshots and forwarded them to my husband to show just how bad this is. My name's Dove. I always loved my name, but they think it's weird and a tragedy. They have a few groups they're a part of, and their only contribution is to mention me and my name and how awful my name is and how awful my parents are for choosing this as my name. This stuff does spill over into in-person interactions. My mother-in-law spent a month trying to call me Diane because she felt that calling me a normal name would be a positive. My husband shut her down and said she either had to use my name or not see us, and he didn't care what she picked, but they were the only options. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law, this is my husband's oldest sister, have pressed me on why I won't change my name legally and why I use my name in daily life. They are really judgmental about names in general. Whenever sister-in-law's kids start in a new class, they go through the names on the class list and mock these kids for their names unless they approve of said names. A post recently made my husband say enough is enough and we won't see them again. They were critical about my name and the fact that I would be contributing to the name of all our future kids, and how scary they find it because they don't want little tragedies being born into our family, and how they have no faith that I won't have a bunch of little doves and become the female George Foreman. My husband told them it was disgusting that they were going on this internet hate campaign against me and my name, and he was done. Their furious father-in-law has been feeding us all the info. And they're pissed I won't tell my husband it's okay. They confronted me in public and I told them their obsession with hating my name is weird and I don't want that poison around any kids I have. Which they also hated, and apparently, according to father-in-law, they are still furious I said that to them. Am I the a-hole?
Time for the comments. One Redditor said, not the a-hole, and Dove is no case for. /tragedy they deal more with Amela or the very unique name Ray Farty. Your husband is right. They are overstepping and you don't have to deal with them. Someone replied with, the OP in that thread said her niece would be called Ray Farty. It was a hilarious thread as an outsider, but ... Another replied, Ray Farty lives on. Another Redditor said, they don't like you, and that is the only way they can actually get that across without looking like haters. But they look like haters anyway. You're not an asshole. They are bullying you like middle schoolers. Also, I love the name Dove. The overall vote is undecided. What do you think? Story 6.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to take my girlfriend back after she cheated, just to see if she still had it? I, 30 male, have been dating my girlfriend, Rachel, 27 female, for 2 years. She's always been confident and charismatic, which is one of the things I loved about her. Our relationship seemed solid, good communication, lots of shared interests, and we were even talking about moving in together. A few weeks ago, Rachel admitted to me that she cheated on me during a night out with her friends. She hooked up with some guy she met at a bar. I was completely blindsided. When I asked her why she did it, she said it wasn't about me or our relationship, but because she wanted to see if she still had it. I told her that was a terrible excuse, and she started crying, saying it was a stupid mistake and that she regretted it immediately. She's begged me to forgive her, saying she learned her lesson and that it would never happen again. But I can't get over the fact that she was willing to risk our relationship for something so shallow. She didn't cheat because she was unhappy or because there was a problem between us. She cheated purely to stroke her ego.
Now, Rachel and some of our mutual friends are calling me unforgiving, saying that everyone makes mistakes and that I'm throwing away a great relationship over one bad choice. They say I should focus on her remorse and give her another chance. I feel like staying with her would mean betraying my own boundaries, but I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too harsh. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take her back? Time for the comments. Not the a-hole. Congrats, you still have it, but you sure as hell don't have me. The mutual friends are just as trashy as her. You'd be crazy to take her back. Another Redditor said, dump the friends they think you should forgive someone for dropping their knickers just to see if she still could, vile. Tell her she can go out and stroke her ego as much as she wants now. The overall vote is undecided. What do you think? Story 7.
Am I the a-hole for arguing with my sister over Chinese food? Am I the a-hole for thinking my sister is in the wrong? I won't be giving specifics on age just in case she sees this, but a week ago, my sister received an award at school and my dad said he would buy her takeout. She then decided, after I suggested, to get Chinese food because my dad was paying and because it is expensive. So today she asked for the takeout, but I had leftovers that I was planning on eating, so I didn't want to order it today, ... But still I did because my dad might not buy it for me later when I want it. Anyway, so since my dad was paying, I was going to order an appetizer and my main even though normally I get just a main. And when I told my sister, because she was ordering it on her phone, she said I couldn't get the appetizer and the main. So I asked her why. And she said because she received an award, she should get the extra thing to make it fair and special for her. She also at first lied and said she didn't think my dad would allow it for both of us, which is a lie because he agreed to pay for Chinese food while knowing that it was going to be expensive. Then later she tried bribing me with a sweet to go collect the takeaway because since she was ordering it, she didn't want to pay the extra delivery fee, which I obviously declined because it is freezing and dark outside. She ended up ordering the appetizer for just herself, and I even heard my dad saying why she only bought one for herself, and she sounded nervous having to explain lull. Also, she said that if she was going to have to share the appetizer with me, then what will happen in the future when she gets more awards? Will she have to share everything with me too, which is also another lie because I've received awards too and we always get the same thing. I get nothing extra and she gets nothing less. So am I the asshole for thinking she's wrong and weird for even proposing this?
Time for the comments. One Redditor replied, "Everyone sucks here, lol." 10-year-olds, please stay off Reddit. Okay, what that mean is out of the way. Here is my real comment. You and your sister sound very, very young if you're not, then God help you. But whether or not you had leftovers has nothing to do with this story, and unfortunately, it makes you sound entitled. It's her reward. She gets to decide when she wants it. Your comment about leftovers makes it sound as if you think your sister should have waited for a time convenient to you to get takeout. You didn't do anyone a favor by ordering anyway. I can understand the excitement about maximizing expensive Chinese takeout on someone else's dime, and you get a pass because of your suspected age and the fact that it's your dad who probably doesn't mind. Generally though, ordering more when someone else is paying is in very poor taste. Don't be like this when you grow up. Your sister sucks for trying to limit what you could order so that she could feel more special. I hope she grows out of this. This is 10-year-old sibling drama that has no place on Reddit. You will laugh at this when you're all grown up. Save this post and read it again in 10 years. Another Redditor said, "Everyone sucks here except for Dad. Neither of you had any authority to be making such decisions. If there was a question, you ask whoever is paying if it's all right to get extra. You and your sister sound like a couple of spoiled brats that just need to chill." The overall vote is everyone sucks here. Story 8.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to make Starbucks drinks for my family on Thanksgiving? I, 28 female, worked at Starbucks for a little over 2 years, and ever since then, my family has loved asking me to recreate their favorite drinks at home. I don't mind doing it once in a while, but it's not exactly my favorite thing, especially because I don't have all the equipment or supplies that Starbucks has. This Thanksgiving, my mom hosted dinner and invited a bunch of extended family. After we finished eating, she casually announced, "Okay, everyone, OP will be making Starbucks drinks for dessert." I was totally blindsided. Apparently, she had bought a bunch of syrups, whipped cream, and even a little espresso machine just for this. When I said I didn't really feel like making drinks for 15 plus people, my mom got super annoyed and said, "It's not that hard for you used to do this all the time at work." A few of my cousins started chiming in too, saying it would be fun and that they'd help. But I didn't come to Thanksgiving to play barista for the whole family, so I stood my ground. Now my mom is upset, saying I embarrassed her after she went out of her way to buy all the supplies. Some of my family thinks I was being selfish and that it wouldn't have taken that long. But I just wanted to enjoy the holiday, not work for a ... Am I the a-hole?
Time for the comments. NTA. You didn't tell your mom you were okay with any of this. You didn't tell her to buy the supplies. You were never asked. You were voluntold. You did nothing wrong. Your mom made an assumption, and she was mistaken. A user replied to this with, "Exactly. If mom had time to plan this plan and buy supplies, even an espresso machine, then she certainly had time to talk to OP about it. She didn't, because she knew OP wouldn't want to do it. She was hoping that by springing it on her, she caved to the pressure. That makes it doubly a-hole-ish, and good for OP for not enabling this kind of gross behavior. Making 15 drinks, especially without all the good equipment, and assuming only able to pull one, max 2 shots at a time, sounds like a nightmare. OP deserves to enjoy their holiday too. Another Redditor said, being a former barista myself, absolutely 100% not the a-hole. For 15 drinks, with a little mini-home espresso machine, you would have been standing there pulling shots that are barely even a real shot for half an hour. Don't even get me started on trying to foam milk with a home machine. She easily could have asked ahead of time if he would be willing to whip up something like a pot of hot chocolate or another fun drink that can be batched instead of lining up that many different espresso drink orders that she might not even have bought the proper ingredients for. Honestly, if your cousins want to learn to make coffee drinks, that could be fun if you have the opportunity to get all the ingredients together and plan it out so nobody's in their holiday best trying to learn how to steam milk or whatever. This was just absurd. The overall vote is undecided. What do you think? Thank you for watching. Like and comment below if you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful week, and see you in the next one.